Rare Whiskey Wednesday. Indeed, I am super excited about this whiskey. In the interest of being totally transparent with you, I've had it. I know what this beast tastes like. This is why we do this, because you need to know what this tastes like. Whiskey is expensive. I don't want you wasting your hard-earned cash on a subpar product, as if I would bring you a subpar product, but you know what I'm saying, right? Right? Whiskey Chaser has the goods. Let's drink some rare whiskey. So welcome to Rare Whiskey Wednesdays. I'm the Whiskey Chaser Brian here in Christy's bar. I hope you are keeping phenomenal. So I might have jumped the gun a small bit when I said I have the goods. As you can see here, I don't have the goods as such. Well, I have a sample of the goods, but currently the goods is on its way down to us. It just didn't make it here on time for the video, but shout out to Dunvilles for the sample they dropped into the pub here for me. Well, they dropped it into the pub, but I'm gonna say it's for me. In other words, all thoughts are my own. So this little sample here, ladies and gentlemen, is the latest single cask release from the Echlinville distillery under the Dunvilles brand, named the Friend at Hand Grosvenor Reserve. I hope I said that right. Grosvenor Reserve. Photo on screen. For those of you who don't know, Dunvilles equals quality spirits. We've had their single casks on the show here before. We had the Palace Bar and the Carryout Killarney single casks, and they were absolutely gorgeous whiskies. Just really good whiskey done right. This, I'm certain, is to be absolutely no different. And for those who don't know, the Friend at Hand is a whiskey shop located in Belfast who have an absolute ton of really rare and incredible whiskeys in their shop. More kind of, I think, of a museum to some extent, I'm led to believe. I've never been. Look, I'm transparent, never been. Will be going soon. They do, of course, sell whiskey also. They have a Rebra single cask, which is absolutely amazing. A Power single cask, and I believe a Middleton single cask as well. 99, I think it's a 20-year-old single cask, amongst a whole plethora of other whiskeys bearing their own name. Superb. This little bad boy is named the Grosvenor Reserve in homage to Belfast Grosvenor Road. I hope I'm saying that right. Which was home to the Royal Irish Distilleries, which is the birthplace of Dunvilles Irish whiskey and one of the world's largest whiskey producers at the time. The distillery itself closing in 1936 and the brand brought back to life more recently by the Echlinville distillery. So what do we have, right? So this is a 21-year-old single malt Irish whiskey finished in both Oloroso and Pedro Jimenez sherry casks and bottled at 53.8% ABV cask strength. It's only for sale in the Friend at Hand shop and they don't do shipping, so you'll have to go in and collect it. And it's priced at £275 sterling, which is about €325 or about $325. This is limited to 324 bottles. More recently, Dunvilles did a tasting in one of my locals, Matt the Miller's Kilkenny, and they brought this along, to which I got a sneaky sample, and then the lads dropped this in for me to do a little video on. Well, that's what I'm going with. They do have 2 of these on order here in the bar. I'm told there will be one for the bar to open and one to drink, obviously. So if you want to try before you buy, then you need to get your ass down here because it will be here shortly. Just not here yet. So this is bottled out of cask 2058 that was used and was selected by Paul O'Hare from the Friend at Hand and bottled in the green style label from Dunvilles. I'll try and put it on screen now, which represents hospitality and retail venues. Typically we see red labels when it comes to the single casks, and they are mainly single casks released from the distillery. So 2 different types of labeling, don't get confused, now you know. I have reached out a number of times to try and get the cask breakdown on the maturation times for this bottling, but sadly no one has come back to me. Shame on you guys. Off the top of my head though, I believe this was aged first for bourbon in 14 years. I think that's why what I was told the day of the tasting, but I could be wrong there. I think it spent 2 years and then maybe 4 years in the sherry casks. Don't ask me for how long in each, because for the life of me I can't remember. But if somebody at Dunvilles had only come back to me, I'd know, I could tell you. Here we are. To be fair, this does have all the trademarks of a bottle of rare whiskey for the channel for Rare Whiskey Wednesdays, and this is why we do it. Incredibly rare, expensive, decadent. Actually, reminder, I think it's double distilled too, so I'm pretty sure the orange of this is Cooley, but don't hold me to that. Look, it doesn't really matter where it came from. Look at the color of it. Just look at that. I'm excited. Let's get it in the glass. And we pour. Ooh, that was healthy. Gonna let that breathe for a little bit. Open up. Just to remind you, if you have a suggestion of a whiskey you'd like to see me drinking that suits the Rare Whiskey Wednesday ethos, leave a comment below. And if we have it and I can get it, then we'll do it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz. One more time, the whiskey, 21-year-old, double distilled, single malt, finished in PX and Oloroso. First time I've had something like that, I think. 53.8% ABV, 324 bottles, only available at the Friend of Hand and collection, I'm afraid. £275 sterling. I'm very excited for this. I've given this a moment to breathe a little bit. It has opened up quite nicely. Let's do some tasting notes. On the nose, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm getting apples and pears, but kind of like that, or like the ripeness is gone. Like it's not very fresh and ripe, but it's that kind of amalgamation of sweetness from almost like a stewed apple and pear. You're kind of going that line. You're getting a nice influx there from the PX sherry, okay? So think kind of more along the lines of a syrupy, kind of maple syrupy note. Toasted oak. Surprisingly, at the moment, not so much nuttiness. A little bit of dark chocolate on the nose or tobacco kind of note there, which is nice. Yeah, big PX influence there, which I like. I don't like PX to be overly influential in my whiskeys, but I like it to be, you know, there, I suppose. Juicy, so that apple and pear now has subsided a little bit. We're kind of getting a juiciness, like a juicy cherry kind of berries, lots of berries, not so much stone fruits. On my palate anyway, on my nose anyway, I don't get much stone fruits. I'm getting kind of more berry notes. Lovely little bit of caramel and vanilla there at the end, kind of tapering it off. Just bringing it all together really nicely. It's lovely. It's really good on the nose. A little bit of spice, nothing major, nothing cruel, nothing out of sorts. A little bit waxy as well. Waxy element, so lots going on. Very complex. Very complex for a 21-year-old whiskey. Yep. Let's have this up. Launch it. That's absolutely gorgeous. Vanilla, apples, not so much pears, light stone fruits, but not a lot. Berries coming through, and that sweetness is really coming through from the PX. So I'm gonna guess, because I can't remember off the top of my head, that it was longer in the PX than it was in the Oloroso. I hope I'm right there. There's that nuttiness coming through. Crushed almonds kind of type. Little hints of dark chocolate there. No bitterness whatsoever. Oh. That's an exciting cough. Let's have another little up. Let's launch it. Oh, like a buttery note there as well. Kind of that, almost like antique oak. Then waxiness is coming through as well. Amazing when you go back to a whiskey the second time how much it can change from the first palate. Once you get it onto the palate, kind of get your palate accustomed to it, and then you go back to it. Phenomenal, for me anyway. A little bit of hazelnut now, that's unique. Last time it was almonds. Now that could be just my palate settling down a little bit. So more along the lines of hazelnut. Apple's still there, still waxy, still, you know, I think it's quite dense. It's quite juicy. Berries, that influence from the PX is obvious, you know, not so much of, I know I said on the nose, it was like nearly like a maple syrupy kind of note to it. on the palate and kind of get more of that antique oak coming through, a little bit of hazelnut, the berries, like I said, finishing off quite nice. Lots of hang time, really complex. I like that. It just coated the palate and the throat. Absolutely lovely. Really, really morsome. Very good. So, in all, this is an absolutely outstanding release. Simply beautiful and an absolute treasure. Yes, it's on the pricey side of things, right? But I think it's actually worth it. I'm not kissing ass, by the way. This is just simply delicious. If I had some spare cash myself lying around, I would most certainly buy one of these for the drinking shelf now, right? So the marriage of PX and Oloroso is really nice. And look, like I said before, Dunvilles do really great releases like this. Just a huge fan. Well done. So yeah, like I said, I would definitely buy a bottle of this. I wouldn't hesitate. I know it's pricey, but the quality is 100% there. I'm not paid to say that, by the way. All thoughts are indeed my own. Keep the good releases rolling. I say Echlinville, superb. Again, this will be here in the coming weeks/days for you to try if you're around. And again, leave some suggestions below of some rare Irish whiskies you want to see me drinking. Thanks to Christy's for acquiring this sample for me. Fair play to the lads. And for the hospitality, of course. As always, great hosts. That's it for me for Rare Whiskey Wednesdays. I have to admit, it was a great idea starting this series. I'm so delighted I did stuff like this. Until next week, keep it Irish, and if you can, keep it rare. Treat yourself. Sláinte.